Hi, Cooper Glover 1972, back with another video to finish off the Criterions. Then we can go on to other movies that are in my collection. We'll also tackle the Seinfeld complete series, and we'll do that probably in one video. I've got some music, basically concert footage. Well, I think I'll concentrate that into another video, and the rest. I don't know if I'll mix the Blu-ray and DVD stuff together. I might do that because it might be simpler for me to do that. But it takes a while, I guess, to get through all this. It's taken me quite some time to um, get some headway. I guess I've done a fair amount in a short amount of time, but I still have somewhat of a ways to go. But it's kind of amazing to me because, I look over at my bookcases and I look at the towers and I think, my God, this is quite a lot of movies. I'm amazed that I have so many. But I've collected them over the years. It took me I've been collecting movies since 2001. Well, even before that with video cassettes. I was collecting movies, video cassettes in the 90s. But when I got a DVD player, I switched over to DVDs and then eventually, recently, Blu-rays, within the last few years. Anyways, let's get back to the Criterions. This film I've seen. It's a little bashed in, but, the condition, the film's fine, but the packaging is a little dented. So, but it's a interesting film. Well, I see what happens. It's supposed to. Well, let me just show you this. It's E2 Mama Tambian, and I think what it means. I asked my friend what it might mean. I think it might mean something like "and your mother" too, like an expletive, um, kind of a bad message, like a not a nice thing to say to somebody. But if you know what that means, just go down below and tell me what that exactly means. Maybe you know better than I do. You probably do. Somebody out there probably knows more exactly what that really means. So this smash road comedy from Oscar-winning director Alfonso Cuarón is that rare movie to combine raunchy subject matter and emotional warmth. Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna shot to international stardom as a pair of horny Mexico City teenagers from different classes who, after their girlfriends jet off to Italy for the summer, are bewitched by a gorgeous older Spanish woman, Maribel Verdú. They meet at a wedding. When she agrees to accompany them on a trip to a faraway beach, the three form an increasingly intense and sensual alliance that ultimately strips them both physically and emotionally bare. Shot with elegance and dexterity by the great Emmanuel Lubezki, who's a great cinematographer. He did Tree of Life for Terrence Malick. He did The Revenant for Inarritu. Excellent cinematographer. E2 Mama Tambian is a funny and moving look at human desire. It's got a digital film transfer supervised by director of photography Emmanuel Lubezki and approved by director Alfonso Cuarón. Two new pieces on the making of the film featuring interviews recorded at the time of production and in 2014 with actors Gael Garcia Bernal, Diego Luna, and Maribel Verdú. Alfonso Cuarón, co-writer Carlos Cuarón and Lubezki. New interview with philosopher Slavoj Zizek about the film's social and political aspects, which is kind of interesting because when they're going out on this trip in Mexico, they're seeing all these kind of socially, politically relevant things happening on the side of the road, and like if maybe Americans were going down the road, they'd find that kind of scary. And I think these three people, the two guys and the woman, they basically, I don't think they really quite notice what's going on. They're trying to enjoy themselves, but you can see that there's something amiss, with in the context of the society. I guess that's a good way to saying what I'm trying to say. And Slavoj Zizek is an interesting guy. If you look him up, his name is Slavoj, his first name. His last name is Zizek. You can look him up on YouTube. He's got various theories on. He's like a Marxist philosopher, and I think he's Hungarian, maybe. And I'm not trying to plug Marxism or anything. He's just an interesting guy. He's a philosopher, I believe, and you can see his various theories about various movies that he comments about. I'm trying to remember. There was some place, I don't know if it was on a DVD or there's somewhere where you can see him talking about various movies like Taxi Driver, John Carpenter's They Live, which I have mixed feelings about, but it's supposed to be kind of a profound movie. It's kind of cheesy movie, They Live, but it has kind of a profundity to it. I guess that's the right word. He talks about those, and he talks about other movies that might have a deeper layer of meaning to them. I'll get back to this on-set documentary from 2001. Deleted Scenes, You Owe Me One, 2002, a short film by Carlos Cuarón. Trailers, and a booklet featuring essay by critic Charles Taylor and reprinted character biographies by Carlos Cuarón and Alfonso Cuarón. So I guess that's his brother, Carlos Cuarón. So it's like a coming of age film, and it's these young men, they're having a sexual awakening, if you will. This is a dual format, so this is a nice, has a very nice layout here. You have the background there, and you have these are the DVDs. Here's one. Maybe because I'm right-handed, it's oh, there we go. So this. And then we have the Blu-ray. And the rest of the landscape on the back of the case, the inside of the case. And we have the booklet. I think I'll address something. Some people won't watch movies because they have subtitles. Sometimes a legitimate defense of that would be because your vision's not good and you have trouble reading subtitles. But I don't know. I mean, some people say that they can't watch a movie with subtitles because they won't be able to focus on what's on the screen. These days, almost all films, if you watch them with subtitles, there's not so many words on the screen at each time when the dialogue comes on that you're not going to mix with you're not going to miss what's on the screen as well. It's fine. The only time I've come across cases where it's kind of been a problem is with my South Korean film, The Host. the subtitles were going by so fast I had to settle for dubbed English. And I don't usually go for dubbed English. I like to hear the actual actors speaking in their native tongue. And then, of course, there's movies like spaghetti westerns, where the characters, the various actors on those films are of different nationalities. Some are Spanish, Italian, some are American. So they'll speak in their native tongue. And so if you listen to the English version, obviously you're going to hear some people dubbed in who are Italian speaking English. And you're going to hear, conversely, if you listen to the Italian version, you're going to listen to them talking in Italian, but the American actors are going to speak in Italian, and you're going to know that that's not the real voice, you know. Going further down that road, you could think of Aguirre, Wrath of God, which I thought was originally spoken in German, but originally it was shot in English, and I would never guess that because it's a West German movie. Another thing I like to say is they used to film movies like back in the 30s in different countries, like Testament of Dr. Mabuse by Fritz Lang. They shoot more than one. When they shot the scenes, they would shoot the same scene in different languages. So they'd shoot one take in French, they'd shoot one take in English, they'd shoot another take in German. So, and I know I'm not talking about this, but I'm showing you the pictures, and I'm trying to, provide more, some more commentary, if you will. So that's E2 Mama Tambian. And if you know what that means, if you're more aware of what that means, please leave a comment below. I'd like to know. This next movie, I'm not really going to talk about it. I'm not going to really read the back. I think I think I talked about this. I think I read off the back when I showed this. If you want to hear what I have to say about this, go to Criterions I purchased. Look about a few months back, and you'll see me talking about this. I bought this off of Amazon in December. I believe it was. Pretty sure it was December. So it's like January, February. So it's like a few months back, because I bought Criterions for the Criterion sale in November, and then I bought and then I got Amazon gift certificate because I spent up to $2,500 on my Barnes & Noble my Barnes & Noble MasterCard. And you get a $25 gift certificate to either their store online or at one of their brick and mortar stores. And I bought Phantom Carriage there, which I showed in a previous video. But you can see my comments about that in this same video where I talk about the Decalogue. But I'll just say this about the Decalogue. Really good movie. Probably my favorite Krzysztof Kieslowski series feature is, well, the Colors trilogy, and especially the White trilogy. I mean, not the trilogy, especially the film White from the trilogy. I like the other ones. Blue and Red are good. Probably like Blue second most, and then Red would be the third most. And he's made some other good films. Blind Chance is pretty interesting. Double Life of Veronica, I'm okay on, but Decalogue is really good. White's my favorite, but this is really good. It's based on the Ten Commandments, and Krzysztof Kieslowski was kind of a director that he might use Judeo-Christian concepts, but he wasn't. I think he wasn't trying to like preach or say, like obey these commands or follow this way of thinking. He uses the Ten Commandments and he tries them out on various people in a Polish apartment complex and the consequences of their actions. So that's what this is about. It's about how humans behave, and it's more to be seen in that framework. So you don't have to be a religious person to like these films by Krzysztof Kieslowski, and it doesn't have to be validated by a god or anything like that. But these are really good movies. It's 10 short films. 2 of them were made into features as well, which are a short film about killing and a short film about love. But this was a worthy purchase. You can't go wrong with this, and also you really can't go wrong with the Three Colors trilogy. And I also mentioned, Criterion sell out. Sometimes they get out of print. Especially with like the Studio Canal, they had a limited license to the Studio Canal, so mostly they are French movies. They were like films like Jean-Pierre Melville's films, like Army of Shadows disappeared. But there were a few other ones that were not French. There's The Third Man that is out of print. There's Ron that was out of print. They had Blu-rays of some of those films, Third Man and Ron. I don't have the Blu-rays of Third Man and Ron, but I do have the DVDs, the Studio Canal Criterion releases. But I think they're out of print by now. But that's if you're thinking of something, to put an investment in, then you might want to consider maybe getting these Krzysztof Kieslowski box sets. And I go with Colors Trilogy first, but Decalogue is awfully good as well. So that's Decalogue. This next one I have seen once in the theater because I saw the Jacob Burns Film Center. I had seen it previously on video. And the director of this showed up after the film was shown in the theater. It's Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters, directed by Paul Schrader. Mishima was a real Japanese writer who wanted to live by the old Japanese code of the samurai. Paul Schrader's visually stunning collage-like portrait of acclaimed Japanese author and playwright Yukio Mishima, played by Ken Ogata, investigates the inner turmoil and contradictions of a man who attempted an impossible harmony between self, art, and society, taking place on Mishima's last day when he famously committed public seppuku, meaning suicide in Japanese. The film is punctuated by extended flashbacks to the writer's life, as well as by gloriously stylized evocations of his fictional works, with its rich cinematography by John Bailey, exquisite sets and costumes by Eiko Ishioka, an unforgettable, highly influential score by Philip Glass. Mishima, Life in 4 Chapters, is a tribute to its subject and a bold, investigative work of art in its own right. So I noticed this cinematographer here, John Bailey, so he must be pretty big stuff. Anyways, this one has, let's see, the director's cut supervised and approved by director Paul Schrader and cinematographer John Bailey. Optional English and Japanese voiceover and narrations, the former by Roy Scheider, the latter by Ken Ogata. New audio commentary featuring Schrader and producer Alan Poole. Theatrical trailer. And Disc 2 has new video interviews with Bailey producers Tom Luddy and Michichiro Yamamoto, composer Philip Glass, and production designer Eiko Ishioka. New video interviews with Mishima biographer John Nathan and friend Donald Ritchie. New audio interview with co-screenwriter Chico Schrader, who I think is Paul Schrader's sister-in-law, maybe? Video interview excerpt featuring Mishima talking about writing. The Strange Case of Yukio Mishima, a 55-minute BBC documentary. And a booklet featuring a new essay by critic Kevin Jackson, a piece on the film censorship in Japan, and photographs of Ishioka's sets. So, and then you have a booklet. And I'll show the disc. I know I showed the disc first, but I'll just show the booklet first. got that. They did, as usual, they do really nice jobs on these. And executive producers on this particular film were Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas. So they also produced, speaking of Japanese movies, Kagemusha, which is a film that Kurosawa did. You can see my video on Kurosawa at the bottom of my videos. But Kurosawa made this film. I don't have it. It's in the Criterion collection. I didn't really like it that much. I don't think it got a lot of rave reviews. He made it when he had a film studio that he started with 3 other directors, and so he made a film called Dodezkaden. I don't know what it means in Japanese. If you do, just write it down there. But it failed at the box office. And he tried committing suicide, Kurosawa. And so he, in order to get another film made, after his suicide attempt, he went to Russia, to Siberia, and made this film called Dursu Uzala, which I have not watched. I own it, but I haven't watched it. My brother watched it, and I think my friend watched it, and they say it's a really good film. It's about like this country bumpkin. I think he might be Mongolian, and he's these Russian traders. It might have been set. I think it might be set in the past. These Russian outdoorsy kind of guys, outdoorsmen. They think they know, the lay of the land, but basically he knows it better. Anyways, after he made that film, he was trying to find funding, and Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas provided him funding for Kagemusha, which means shadow warrior in Japanese. And then he made Ron, which was financed by Serge Silberman, a French producer who produced Buñuel's Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. So, and then of course he made Dreams, he made Rhapsody in August, and then he made his final film, which I have not seen. I don't think it's on Criterion. It's Madadayo, which is about I guess a teacher and his students. Rhapsody in August was okay. It's about concerns the remembrance of the atomic bomb, and Richard Gere's in it. So, and I can't remember under what context I saw that. And I think I might have got a Blockbuster at the time. Can't really remember. Yeah, nice look to the packaging and DVDs. I had to get this on DVD because the Blu-ray there wasn't a Blu-ray available at the Barnes & Noble store where I bought it. And the discs they're the same picture, like Christ pictures, like having the spears being put into his flesh. I guess that's like a metaphor for Mishima feeling like he's oppressed or what have you. I think I own some books by Mishima, but I haven't read them. Also, I'd like to go to Japan at some point. I'm really into Japanese culture and history and their food and their movies um, and I can speak a little Japanese. I've had 3 different teachers. I'm not really proficient. I guess that's the word I'd want to use in Japanese, but I know some phrases, and I hope to go there at some point. I don't know how soon I'll get there, but I hope to go there at some point. I gotta go there. I gotta make it a mission to go there. So, anyways, I've looked into it. I've looked into airfare. There's a website called Skyscanner, and you can put in a date as to when you want to go, and it'll go through all the airlines and get you the cheapest fare. I obviously haven't bought a fare, round trip fare, but it looks through it, and you can put in a date, and you can say email me when more prices come for that date I'm asking about. So I get emails constantly from them telling me, like another fare, another set of prices has come your way or whatever. And there's a touring company. It's called Samurai Touring, which take like groups of like 15 to 16 people in Japan. Take them around. You take public transportation. You stay at a place called a Roiken, which I guess is the substitute for a bed and breakfast. It's Japan's version of a bed and breakfast, where you sleep on tatami mats. You sleep on the floor, and you take your shoes off, and you live in that kind of a way. You take public transportation. I think I said that. They also have capsule hotel rooms, which are kind of interesting, but you probably have to be kind of not tall, and I'm like 6'2", I think, because Japanese people, Asian people are smaller. They're less tall because I know I'm digressing, but I thought I'd just say this. I think it might sound interesting for people to watch, on YouTube. My cousin was in Hong Kong on business. He's taller than I am. Maybe he's 6'5". I don't know. But he was in Hong Kong. He got on the subway. He had to duck to get into the compartment, into the train, because he was too tall. And anyways, going back to Japan, they have these capsule hotels, which are basically they're these, like, it's like sleeping inside a box, and you put all your luggage and clothes and all that stuff in a locker across from the capsule box. And then they have a bathroom. But it's kind of a unique way to stay in a certain place. It's very unusual, but probably not unusual for Japanese people, I would say. But I hope someday to get there. But for the time being, here I am in America. So this is the last Criterion of all my whole collection. And then we can get to other things. And so this is the last one I'll read from the back from. So anyways, it's called Equinox. I believe Dennis Muren, who you worked for ILM and worked on Close Encounters, he was part of this. Before he took you to a galaxy far, far away, before he brought you face to face with living, breathing, prehistoric beasts, Dennis Muren, the future 9-time Oscar-winning visual effects artist, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, joined forces with a group of talented young filmmakers to create an homage to the creature features of yore in the eerie monster mash Equinox. Deep within the woods and canyons of California, 4 teenagers happen upon an ancient book containing the secrets of a strange, malevolent world that can coexist with that of mankind. This 6,500 budget wonder, originally called the Equinox, A Journey into the Supernatural, was picked up for distribution by producer Jack H. Harris, The Blob, who shot The Blob. I'm thought of buying off a Criterion. That it looks like a cheesy movie, but I bet it's pretty interesting. I might have seen it. I'm not sure. Who shot new footage for the film with writer-director Jack Woods and released it in 1970 as Equinox. Since then, the film has gained a passionate cult following and inspired succeeding generations of horror fantasy filmmakers. So disc 1 has Equinox and Equinox: The Journey into the Supernatural. Um, it's got, for the first time on DVD, the original 1967 version of the film. 2 audio commentaries, one by writer-director Jack Woods and producer Jack H. Harris on the 1970 release, and one by effects photographer, producer, and director Dennis Muren, writer, co-director Mark McGee, and matte artist, cell animator, and effects technician Jim Danforth. Jim Danforth did the children's animation, stop motion animation for a series. I don't know if it's a series. I don't know if it was just a movie or a series of shows, Frog and Toad movies. I know that because I have a magazine for young filmmakers. It only had 37 issues. It was printed 4 times a year. It's called Cinemagic. And it was a sister publication to Starlog and Fangoria. And it was basically for special effects kind of filmmakers, young filmmakers who either made horror, fantasy, or science fiction films. And I have every single issue, and Jim Danforth is featured in one of those issues. Video introduction by Forrest J. Ackerman. Second one has supplements, interview with Muren and actors Frank Bonner, Barbara Hewitt, and James Duran. Deleted scenes and outtakes from the 1967 version. Archival stop-motion test footage. The Magic Treasure, a rare animated fairy tale by Equinox effects animator David Allen. Acclaimed Kong Volkswagen commercial by Allen, including test footage. Zorgon, the H-bomb beast from hell, 1972. A short film featuring Equinox crew. Extensive gallery featuring rare stills, promotional material, and more. Trailer and radio spots for the 1970 theatrical release. And a booklet featuring tributes from George Lucas and Ray Harryhausen, and a new essay by Brock Deshane. So, I think I just glimpsed at this. But I'm looking forward to watching it. So you got some kind of monster there. So this looks pretty cool. This, you get to see where Dennis Muren started it off. And speaking of ILM, I had this book called, well, I don't know what it's exactly called. I think it was the first book ever printed about ILM. It came out in the late 80s, I believe, or maybe late 80s. It's a huge book. When I show my film book collection, I'll show that to you. That shows how they did some of the special effects. And that was way, well, no. It was before CGI took over. There's a little bit of CGI in it. It shows the beginnings of Pixar in it. But basically, it's centered on more analog special effects. And of course, I have other books too, like the book on Disney animation. I want to read all those books. I just never have. That's the first disc. And this is the older series of Criterion, so they don't have them overlapping. They have them in separate parts of the case. So that finishes the Criterions. So I'm trying to think about, well, maybe we'll do music next, and then we'll do, the musical stuff, which is basically concerts and stuff like that. And then maybe we'll tackle Seinfeld, and then we'll do the rest of the collection. So we're getting there. I think when I get to the final video of the whole collection, the whole deal, I will put final video in the title, so you know that is it. And I think what I just said right there, I'll repeat in every video following this, so you know that it'll be coming up. It'll be a little while longer. Might take a little while, might take longer than I think it's going to take. So, anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks a lot. Hi, Kubrick Lover 1972. Sorry, I thought I had gone through all my Criterions. It turns out I just watched a video that you're watching right now, and I'm adding this extra part to the video because when I load them up onto YouTube, I watch the video as I'm loading them up, and then I delete them from the hard drive. So I was sitting on my couch, and I thought, here's the end of the Criterions, and I don't have any others. And I was looking at my bookcase, and I see on one of the bookcases the newest Criterion I've bought. It's not a brand new Criterion, but it's been out. Well, let's see, it's like 541 on the spine label. But anyways, I'll try and get through this fairly quickly. The Night of the Hunter, which I had a regular copy of, but I decided to get this. The Night of the Hunter, incredibly the only film great actor Charles Laughton ever directed, is truly a standalone masterwork. A horror movie with qualities of a grim fairy tale. It stars the sublimely sinister Robert Mitchum as a traveling preacher named Harry Powell, he of the tattooed knuckles, whose nefarious motives for marrying a fragile widow, played by Shelley Winters, are uncovered by her terrified young children, graced by images of eerie beauty and a sneaky sense of humor. This ethereal, expressionistic American classic, also featuring the contributions of actress Lillian Gish and writer James Agee, is cinema's most eccentric rendering of the battle between good and evil. This one has audio commentary featuring second unit director Terry Sanders, film critic F.X. Feeney, archivist Robert Gitt, and Arthur Preston Neal Jones. New documentary featuring interviews with producer Paul Gregory, Sanders, Feeney, Jones, and author Jeffrey Couchman. New video interview with Laughton biographer Simon Callow. Clip from The Ed Sullivan Show, in which cast members perform a scene deleted from the film. 15-minute archive documentary about the film featuring Robert Mitchum. Archival interview with cinematographer Stanley Cortez. Gallery of sketches by Davis Grubbs, author of the source novel, an original theatrical trailer. Side 2's got Charles Laughton directs The Night of the Hunter, a 2.5-hour treasure trove of outtakes and behind-the-scenes footage. New video conversation between Gitt and film critic Leonard Maltin about Charles Laughton directs. And a booklet featuring essays by critics Terrence Rafferty and Michaels Stagow, I guess. Really good movie. This is the movie where let me just show you and you'll know for yourself. Of course, this is the film where Robert Mitchum's character does the lecture about love and hate possibly winning, and then love, the fist of love taking control over the fist of hate. I guess you could call it the fist of hate or the hand of hate. Of course, you got these two discs here. I'm just trying to get them correct. So, really nice image there, Robert Mitchum. Charles Laughton there, I guess, directing Robert Mitchum. I have a book, one of those British Film Institute books, the monograph books. They're like 70, 100, 130 pages, and I have one on Night of the Hunter, which I've never read, but I'm looking forward to reading that. And I have a whole bunch, as I mentioned before in some of my videos, I have BFI books, which have film classics from the past and modern classics. And I read some of them. I've read Seven Samurai, Taxi Driver. I think I read Belle de Jour. I read The Birds. By Camille Paglia did The Birds. I don't have Wizard of Oz, for example, but Salman Rushdie does that. So usually the BFI monograph books, they're tackling it from a certain angle. So like Camille Paglia uses Greek tragedy to tackle The Birds. So there's Lillian Gish with a shotgun, and Robert Mitchum outside her house. It's got very expressionistic kind of touches to it, which are I think influenced by German cinema, like German silent cinema, as you can see in that shot there, for example. And the plot of this is that Robert Mitchum's character is in jail, and he's in his cellmate is this other guy played by Peter Graves. I think his name Richard Graves or Peter Graves. I think it's Peter Graves. And Peter Graves has hid this money, and Robert Mitchum finds out about it. And I think the Peter Graves character, maybe he's executed. I'm not sure on that. And so Robert Mitchum goes to see his widow. I guess it's his widow. And of course, something happens to her, and the kids are left helpless. Her two kids. And the mother's played by Shelley Winters. It's sort of like a horror film. It's got, the Robert Mitchum character can sort of be seen as like a Frankenstein type character in some of the scenes. And it can be quite terrorizing, parts of it. Parts of it can be kind of, not terrorizing, that is not the right word, scary. It's kind of scary. Kind of, makes you hold your breath at certain points. But it's an excellent movie. It was the only movie Charles Laughton directed. Who knows what he could have directed besides this. But anyways, that's Night of the Hunter. And this finally is the last Criterion. So I'm sorry that I forgot about this one, but it just escaped my eyes. And I just by chance, by watching this video, the previous part of the video that you just watched, that I noticed this DVD. So this is the last Criterion, and I promise this is the last one. And I'll just mention that before I recorded this video you're watching right now, I recorded the next video, which is all about music. It's about bands. It's all concert footage from different bands. So it's DVDs on concerts from different bands. So that's what you're going to see next. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.